In this episode of Inside the RC Jet Shop, we're diving into how the first of its kind fuselage for the X-35 sport jet is built from the inside out. If you've been following the channel, you've already seen how the outer carbon fibre skin is laminated, but today we're giving you a first ever look at how the internal structures come together and how both halves are joined into one solid, high performance airframe. It's the very first prototype of a thrust vector in RC jet inspired by the legendary F-35 prototype. Or as Bogo puts it so eloquently, so basically they want to turn this into this.
No shit.
Modularski klub, sam smo profesionalci.
Ja, sami smo profesionalci.
My name is Kane, and I'll be your guide on this behind the scenes tour of the RC jet building process.
Ja. Bentley, vseeno lahko ne vem. Ja, boljš.
Here it is, the bottom half of the fuselage mould. The thing is huge.
That's what she said!
This mould has already been skinned, meaning multiple layers of the carbon fibre and fiberglass have been laminated and vacuum bagged. Here you can see the detailed blueprints of the internal structure of the airframe. These plans lay out every component, ribs, spars, bulkheads, carefully engineered to handle the stresses of flight and ensure everything fits perfectly inside the carbon fibre skin. While we were there, we caught a glimpse of the laser cutting process. These are airfoil ribs and spars being cut for a future project, the Catalina. Right now, they're made entirely from Herex foam without any carbon fibre lamination. It's a test run to check the fit and keep the costs low. Once the design's confirmed, these will then be cut from the same carbon fibre laminated used in the X-35. And by the way, shout out to the MiBO crew for letting me invade their workshop and film all of this.
Excellent.
Appreciate you guys playing along, even when I expected a full win reveal. Anyway, back to the main subject of today's video. Since this is a prototype, everything gets a test fit. Every detail is double checked, debated and fine-tuned, even during mould assembly. It really gives you an idea of the craftsmanship behind these jets. Now, for one of the most meticulous steps, applying glue.
Bogo, kakšno je pa to lepilo, je kaj posebenega?
Smola, pa je noter.
Epoksi.
Epoksi smola, ima dodan tekstiltrop, bombaž, pa mikrobal.
First, they apply a special adhesive mix to the Herex parts that will bond to the upper fuselage shell. Continuous beads of epoxy mix are applied along the seams. Every millimetre counts here.
That's what she said.
This ensures that all internal contact points are securely bonded during the final assembly. Quick specs drop. Once completed, it'll have a wingspan of 190 centimetres or roughly 75 inches. An all-up weight of 15 kilos or 33 pounds and a length just shy of 3 metres or 118 inches. It's a big bird. That's what she said? After carefully positioning them in the mould, every seam of the inner structure is glued, wiped, re-glued again and again. This part took hours, and yes, we shot it all. But we trimmed it down so you're not watching glue dry in real time. We pass the time with a few very mature jokes.
Pa sem ti prav, ki slika tipčka z eno tajko. Tako prav.
Kok.
Ne. Da mi je punca rekla, da če se imaš res rad, da če je majhen lulček, sploh ni problem. Pa tako naprej, ampak jaz bi vse rajš videl, če ga ne bi imela.
Once the glue is applied, the bottom mould is added to clamp everything in place while the adhesive cures. When the mould is fully sealed and bolted together, Oscar takes a moment to perform a quick inspection of the interior.
Quality check je v redu. Ja, od spodaj je odlično.
Nice.
The fit is incredibly tight, which is exactly what you want when you're working on something this precise. I came back the next day and the mould was opened up again, this time with the internal structure solid and locked in place. And yes, you guessed it, more glue. Same mix, this time applied to the bottom structure, which includes only the gear support and centre joint. Next up, it's time to prepare the joint that will permanently bond the two fuselage halves together. A fiberglass seam band is carefully laid across the perimeter of the bottom mould half, strengthening the connection between the two halves once they're joined. It's a crucial step to ensure the finished fuselage can withstand the stresses of flight, especially in a high-performance thrust vectoring jet like this. After that, foam tape is applied around the edges of the mould. This serves two key purposes. It prevents the epoxy from leaking or oozing out during assembly. It increases the contact surface area, helping the adhesive form a more uniform and robust bond. Once that's in place, glue is applied to the internal structure that was installed the day before, specifically the surface part that will come into contact with the lower mould half. Continuous beads of epoxy mix are applied along the mould edges and seams. This adhesive will lock the two halves into a single, unified structure. With all prep work complete, it's time for the critical moment, joining the two mould halves together.
Sam malo da ga ne vrhim. Svi drži mjesta, tu će izgledati.
Zdaj pa daj eno od teh. To je da se bo... Ne, že preveč, zdaj treba pa...
The fiberglass seam band is then pressed and glued one final time, right along the centre line of the fuselage. This not only helps seal the joint, but adds more structural integrity. Finally, the mould is bolted shut and the bearer roller is run along the seam to evenly compress the joint. This ensures there are no air gaps or weak spots. Just a smooth, tight and precision bond. Day 3. My favourite part, the reveal. After removing all the bolts, the bottom half of the mould comes off pretty easily. The top takes a bit more convincing. In the end, all it took was a few taps with a hammer. Alright, the fuselage is finally out the mould, and honestly, it looks pretty good. You can see those clean lines and the way the two halves come together is spot on. There's no weird gaps or rough edges, it's just a nice tight fit all round. It's a good sign that the mould and the assembly process worked as planned. The fuselage is then placed on a scale to measure one of the most important numbers in the build process. This weight tells us if the fuselage was built according to the design specifications. Just over 4 kilos, or 8.8 pounds. This measurement gives us a quick way to verify that the build is on track before moving forward with the next steps. Meet Boyan. If you've seen the previous shows, you will already know his skill for precision finish work. He handles cleanup on all casted parts. Watching him work a Dremel is honestly kind of mesmerising. He trims off all the extra material along the seam lines, cleanses the edges and gives it a final sanding. Once the fuselage is fully cleaned up, it's time to start putting everything together. It's a satisfying moment, seeing all the separate pieces come together. This is the stage where the project really starts to take shape. With these major components in place, we finally get our first real look at the full silhouette of the new model. And here it is in all its glory, the X-35 inspired sports jet by MiBO. What a beauty. We'd love to hear what you think about the new voiceover style. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback means a lot and helps us make better content for you.